No, don't.
What's that?
You're kidding. That worked. Oh my god. This is the stupidest game ever. Payday 3 isn't actually a stupid game. In fact, clips like that are why I'm falling in love with this game. Picture this. We were 20 minutes into this heist. We'd tried it multiple times already, and this was as far as we'd ever gotten. Tension was high, and my improvisation helped us get out of there with our prize. Even if that stunt was ridiculous and silly, it still felt cool. I'm really enjoying Payday 3, and who knows, maybe you will too. If you've already played the Payday games, it'll feel very familiar, but there is enough new stuff here to justify the 3 in the title. Payday 3 is an easy game to jump into, but there's some stuff that you might want to know beforehand. Whether you're a Payday veteran or considering jumping in for the first time, I've got some info that'll help you out, and I'm gonna try and keep it entertaining along the way. First, the story. You've got 2 games worth of story to catch up on, but I'll keep it real simple for you. Just don't worry about it. Don't get me wrong, the story is fun, but don't feel intimidated about having to catch up. The game is awesome even without it, and honestly, this game feels like a bit of a soft reboot on the story anyways. Here's the essentials. You're playing as members of the Payday gang, infamous heisters with a long and successful career. They've robbed banks, stolen nukes, nicked ancient treasure, and burglarized the White House. And after all of that, they faked their deaths and lived in luxury. That is until the events of Payday 3, where they're drawn back into the world of crime. And just for fun, here's a few random tidbits from Payday 2's lore. John Wick is canon, Giancarlo Esposito is an immortal, and aliens are real. I swear I didn't make any of that up, it's canon, trust me. If you don't believe me on that, and I don't blame you, I'll put a link in the description for a video that covers the whole Payday story. It's really excellent, give it a watch.
I like how my bond for mass murder is $14,000.
That wasn't that bad. The Payday crew can have a little murder as a treat.
As a treat.
Aw, those scamps.
It's really hard to stay mad at them.
Oh, you.
Oh, you Payday gang.
For real though, if you don't want to, you really don't have to worry about the story. Now let's get you ready to heist. Every time you successfully complete a heist, you come away with money and XP. You've seen this before. The more you level up, the more stuff becomes available to you, be that weapons you can buy or skills you can equip. I'm skipping a lot here and keeping it simple because it might get a little boring if I go through every detail. But here's a brief overview and advice on the skills. The more you level up, the more options you'll have in skills that you can equip, and the more skills you can equip at a time. Give me a sec, I nearly got caught lockpicking.
Here, let me grab it actually, because I've got a bunch of lockpick skills for some reason.
I have a bunch of lockpick skills, I'm just bad.
Ah.
These skills will generally revolve around these 3 buffs. Edge, extra damage, Grit, less damage taken, and Rush, a speed boost. Your skills will allow you to gain these buffs in different ways, or give you effects if you have one of those buffs active. There's tons of build crafting opportunity here, and there's a lot to experiment with. Take some time to look them over and come up with a build that works for you. Or you can just look up a guide. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, let's get heisting, shall we? Stealth. Stealth has seen a ton of improvement since Payday 2. There's a lot of depth here, but once again, I'm gonna keep it to the essentials. Stealth can be tackled from 2 different angles, unmasked and masked. While unmasked, you blend in with the civilians, and essentially have free reign in public areas, sometimes to a silly degree.
Guard over there.
Watch the guard.
It's a guard.
Watch the
Check
guard.
the
Watch the
guard.
guard.
It's a
Mind the
guard. Watch
guard.
the guard.
Don't mind me, officer, just sprinting out of the bank with a massive duffel bag. Also, while you're unmasked, you can slip into private areas and complete some objectives. And if you get caught, you'll just be escorted out instead of setting off the alarm. And then of course, there's masked stealth. There are certain things you can't do in stealth until you've masked up, such as climbing around, grabbing hostages, and taking down guards. But once you've masked up, you can't unmask again. And once masked, civilians and guards aren't going to put up with the tomfoolery you could get away with while you were unmasked. You've got the typical stealth game stuff here, like detection gauges and suppressed weapons. Of course, then there's the cameras. Sure, they're easy enough to dodge since the guard operating them is legally blind, just like every other guard.
Check the guard.
Lamau, frickin' loser. However, that being said, sometimes it can only take one slip up to ruin a stealth run. So it might be in your best interest to take out the guy running the cameras. But this isn't Splinter Cell. If you kill a guard, they're gonna check up on him via radio.
You okay over there?
Hello? So, how flammable are hamsters anyway? Asking for a friend.
And you can only get away with a few responses like that before things start to go sideways. Luckily, most of the time, once you've answered a guard's radio once, you're good. Except when this guy's around. The lead guard, ruiner of stealth runs and slayer of my sanity. He's tricky, he's everywhere, and I swear to God he can read my thoughts. Oh my God! Oh. The worst part is, you can't even kill him, because when you answer his radio, they just keep calling. The second that you kill the lead guard, your stealth run has an expiration date, so maybe it's time to consider Plan B.
Time to lock and load.
In my opinion, going loud is where Payday shines. The music, the gunplay, and the teamwork all coming together in a beautiful symphony of carnage. The objectives are generally very simple. Drill through a door, melt through the floor, and so much more. But notice how I said simple, not easy. That's because you've got a cast of characters that are gonna do their very best to make your heist hell.
I'll bring you down if I have to.
Let's start simple with SWAT. They don't hurt a lot, but boy oh boy, there's a bunch of them. They're your basic ground troops. They shoot you, it hurts, you get the gist of it.
Do you understand bulletproof?
Then there's shields. They're not much on their own, but they're a force multiplier. Mobile cover for your enemies, and they're annoyingly tanky too. If you can't flank them, then shoot through the glass. And then there's snipers. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll know when they're around. The trick here is sniping them before they snipe you because they hit like a truck. But while the sniper has a big gun, we actually haven't discussed the big guns yet. Every enemy I've mentioned so far can be dangerous, but these next few are the real deal.
It'll be over soon enough.
Grenadiers, aka Naders. They've got the same name that my redneck cousins call tornadoes, but luckily the comparison stops there. Naders are crowd control. They've got flashbangs and gas grenades. On paper, these don't sound too bad, but that gas grenade ignores armor entirely, and it'll melt you down quick if you're not quick about getting out of the radius.
Ride the lightning.
Tasers, aka zappers. They can stun you from range, and while it can be easy to break out of the stun just by shooting them, if he can get the right angle on you, he can lock you up for a long time. And when you've got a horde of SWAT nearby, a long stun can be a death sentence. Speaking of a death sentence,
You're up against the wall, and I'm the fucking wall.
bulldozers, aka dozers. They live up to their name. Dozers are tanks that will flatten you, and they're gonna have fun while they're doing it.
I'm unstoppable.
They've been hitting the gym since Payday 2. They're now harder to kill and a lot more dangerous. They've got a couple of new melee stuns to contend with. And the worst part is, his voice lines hurt even more than his bullets.
You think you're bad? You're nothing.
Always remember, Payday 3 is the dozers game. We're just playing in it.
I'm the rock and the hard place.
And then from there, we've only got one special enemy type left. He's sorry, I think I was mistaken. There's no final special enemy.
Ah, you shouldn't have.
You see this? This is an anti-material rifle. It's a very bad day to be made out of material.
Bye-bye, Sparky!
Oh, I one-shot the cloaker. Payday 3 does have its issues. Always online games will forever be at the mercy of their servers, and the first impressions on that front weren't great, to say the least. Plus, anything that looks like it's trying to be a live service game makes me worried these days. Only time will tell if Starbreeze can dodge that bullet. However, there's a wonderful formula that Starbreeze has found here. Tense gameplay that slowly gets more difficult as it goes. It leaves you perpetually feeling like you can get just one more bag of loot. Then crap hits the fan. Someone goes down, or someone gets caught during stealth, and the intensity gets cranked up to an 11 as everyone has to start improvising to save the heist they've been chipping away at for the past 20 minutes. Then comes the feeling of relief and accomplishment after you've made your escape. It's an addicting gameplay loop. One I'm sure I'm gonna be stuck in for some time to come. Thanks so much for watching. This is probably my favorite video I've made on the channel so far, so I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. This channel is still super young, so liking the video and subscribing to my channel would mean the world to me. Clicking the recommended video that's on the screen right now also helps a ton with YouTube algorithm. Thanks again for watching to the end of the video. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.